one, I cannot be the two. Why you on a perimeter, can't even shoot? Oh, you got a whack at jump. We gon' make it rain, no thunder. I ain't tryna sit on the phone, tryna.
All right, y'all. It's Monday night. Week 6 of the NFL season has concluded, and I don't know anything. I don't know anything. We're at the quarter pole. 6 games in. Some people played 5. Most people played 6. But here we are at the quarter pole, and I don't know what to tell you. I don't want to go through every game because something's happened this week that I don't even know what to talk about. I just don't understand what's going on this year. I think we came into the season thinking we knew who the big dogs were. We knew who the bad teams were. And for the most part, the bad teams stay bad, but who's the best team in the NFL right now? Are you gonna say the 3-3 Chiefs? Are you gonna say the Bills that are 4-2 and just got smacked by Atlanta? Are you gonna say the Lions that keep getting dog walked by good opponents when they played the Packers, when they played the Chiefs? It's not the Chargers. Is it the Bucks with their injuries? I don't know. I don't know. Let's talk about the AFC in specific. We'll go we'll go division by division. And it's not time yet for our midway point where we discuss where we are with our NFL honors. I did have a video posted for the NFL honors on this page. You can go check my predictions. We'll see how we round up the at least that the halfway point of the season. But here we're looking at the standings by the divisions. And listen, I was high on the Patriots. Did I think they were going to be better than the Bills? Again, obviously, same record. But when we look over here, Patriots win streak, 3 games. Buffalo's on a 2-game losing streak. Hey, what's going on? That's just interesting. 4-2 is 4-2. 4-2 is 4-2. I'm not mad at the Bills. They've been better and worse than expected. Keon Coleman, I'm waiting for. Josh Allen isn't as clean with the football as he was last year. MVP year that should have gone to Lamar, but we don't know. NFC North, Pittsburgh Steelers. Everyone's thought the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to be number 1. No. I mean, I think again, last place teams, the Jets. We thought the Jets were going to be in last. Did we think Miami was going to be 1-5? I don't think so. NFC North, last place team, the Browns. I think everybody put the Browns as last. Did we think the Baltimore Ravens were going to have the same record as the Cleveland Browns 6 weeks into the season? I don't think we did. Did we think Pittsburgh Steelers were going to be number 1 in the NFC North? I don't think we did. Cincinnati Bengals sit in second place of their divisions with 2 wins and battling for the worst quarterback play in the league, but they're still second in their division. Maybe that's a good thing for Baltimore, that second place only has 2, but they might have to win their division to make it to the playoffs, and Pittsburgh's 4-1. Are they going to keep being 4-1? Is Aaron Rodgers going to keep um, playing decent enough football for them to win games? We don't know, but this is where they are now. AFC South, the Colts. I think everyone thought this was a two-team race between the Jags and the Texans. I was leaning Jags. Again, I don't want to hate on Daniel Jones because, the Giants did draft him. I don't think he played well for us, but we definitely didn't help him in that sense. I mean, he did have Brian Daboll, but I digress. 5-1 for the Indianapolis Colts. When we thought, not starting Anthony Richardson was going to be the problem. When we thought, yeah, Shane Steichen's a good coach. They have a lot of good things going on. Honestly, I didn't think Jonathan Taylor popping off this year, but, they're doing what they do. And we saw a quarterback competition between Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. And we thought, wow, if Anthony Richardson can't beat Daniel Jones out, then Anthony Richardson must not be good. But in all actuality, or what we've been seeing so far on the football field, this Daniel Jones is taking control of this offense. I'm not saying he's, you know, the end all be all because he's not. That run game is helping out a ton. The offensive line is great for them. Play calling has been excellent. Obviously, the defense. But he is doing what he needs to do in this offense. So maybe that's a silver lining for the Anthony Richardson folks. Daniel Jones does look really nice in this offense. style of play. I don't want to wish injuries upon anybody, but maybe when Anthony Richardson gets the chance, and I'm not talking about in a blowout at the end of one of these games, but he'll look good because this offense or this team might look quarterback friendly. Or for the Daniel Jones folks, shout out Greg Jennings. You always believed in him. You always believed in him. You always thought he would do this, and now he's just in the right situation to do it. I don't know. Take your pick. But we certainly didn't think the Texans were going to be third in their division 6 weeks in. Titans, we kind of guessed it. 1-5, one win against the Cardinals on some really bad plays by the Cardinals that we talked about. Firing your head coach, you're probably right where we thought we were going to be, at this point in the season. And then we get to my most confusing. I think this is my most confusing. Maybe the NFC North was a little more confusing, but I mean, the AFC North was a little more confusing, but the AFC West. I don't know what to think about the AFC West. Here we have. Oh, why can't you see my thing? Is what I'm wondering. Can't see it. Why can't you see my cursor? When did that stop showing? Okay, click. Okay, you can see it now. So again, we're looking at the AFC West, and I'm confused. The Los Angeles Chargers are a good team. They're 4-2. Do they look like a good team to you? Have they been performing like a good team to you? Their most recent win, they beat the again 1-5. Were 1-4, but now 1-5. Miami Dolphins by 2 points. They scored 10 points. We're up 10-0. They spotted the Commanders. Well, the Commanders spotted them 10 points, and then they got dog walked for the rest of that game. But they beat the Chiefs early in the season. They had a good, couple quality wins. Justin Herbert, 2-3 games in before losing to the Giants. Shout out Jackson Dart. But before losing to the Giants, Justin Herbert was 1-1, 1 of 1 in MVP voting. I haven't heard a peep. And yes, injuries have ravaged this team. But with a coach like that, with a defense like that, with a quarterback like that, with the running back that we think is good, a rookie running back, obviously, we expect you to do better. And again, it's 4-2. I'm not saying 4-2 is bad. Clearly, if we look over here at the point differential, +2 is interesting. If we're looking at all these other number ones, we have 30, 12. Again, it's the Steelers. They play defensive ball, but when you look at the rest of their division, they're doing great at +12, +17, plus 78. And then we look at the Chargers at +2. Don't worry, we're gonna get down to these Philadelphia Eagles in the second, but it's just interesting that the two teams behind them, the Broncos and the Chiefs, which we'll get to the Chiefs in a second, have a better point differential. That's what we're looking at, right? I think that's what we're looking at. Um, the Raiders. Some people were high on the Raiders. I was high on Ashton Genty, and up in this point, I blame the offensive line. I blame Geno Smith. Usually can't run the ball when your quarterback's throwing 7 picks a game. You would think the coach would figure something out. There's Raiders fans calling to trade for Shador Sanders, and we're not even getting into Shador right now. When we're talking about the Cleveland Browns earlier, but you can get with me on TikTok to talk about Shador. I love talking about Shador. He's an interesting topic. TikTok's really for all the hot button topics, but here we can dive into everything and really my takes on everything. But yeah, moving on to NFC East, moving on to the NFC in general, the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, listen, I don't want to talk too bad about the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't want to talk too bad about the Eagles because, or about the Chargers because those are the Giants' 2 wins. But the Giants are not a team today, Thursday night when we played the Eagles, or especially the last game or the first game of Jackson Dart's career. We were not a team and should not be a team to be beating these teams, especially the way that we beat the Philadelphia Eagles. That's the what Chargers riding on a high horse. Eagles were on notice after losing to the Broncos. We played them the game after next, so they have time to get some get back, but they shouldn't be losing to the Giants. I'm sorry. As a Giants fan, I can look at the Eagles squad when we talk about running back, wide receiver, coach, offensive line, defense, and yes, the quarterback, all top of the league. And I'm not saying top one, but top groups, top personnel in the league. I think they were second to Baltimore in total roster construction this offseason, when rated by all the executives and scouts and all those people. The Eagles were number two on that list, if I remember correctly. And again, 4-2 is 4-2, but when your point differential is one, -1, not +1, -1, you're on a 2-game losing streak. Um, Again, AJ Brown and his fiascos, Saquon Barkley quietly having a quiet season. The defense did just give up a 30 ball to Jackson Dart. And again, maybe Jackson Dart's the next whatever quarterback you want to throw out there. But at this point, Jackson Dart is an unknown quantity. And his weapons are a very known quantity other than Cam Scatterboo. But his other weapons, I mean, little Jordan Humphrey is out here mossing guys. It's just this shouldn't be happening for the Eagles, and it's a bad look. And I wanted to get on here and strictly talk Giants, but I toned it down. And I'm just saying because I didn't want to make a solo video about, oh my gosh, the Giants just beat the Eagles, because I think the Eagles are a good team. So Giants have, two quality wins, MVP at the time, Justin Herbert, defending Super Bowl champions. It's impressive. That's all I'm saying. Commanders, they just lost to the Bears, last second field goal. Um, I don't know what to think about this team. They're the only team in their division with plus 32, so they have a nice point differential. I don't know if that's gonna I don't know what that's gonna do at the end of it, but Jaden Daniels is a top flight quarterback, at least in talent. Um, Injuries, injuries, injuries. I mean, all teams have injuries, but Austin Eckler being out for the year, you trading away Brian Robinson because you think, Austin Eckler, Brian Robinson, then Bill. Now Bill's, your starting running back, and I don't think he has a fumbling issue. Might have a confidence issue after that, but you know, looks good for you guys. Commanders, Giants. I mean, Cowboys, Giants, Cowboys losing to the Panthers this weekend. Allowing 27 points is actually good for this defense, but I don't think scoring 30 is enough or allowing 30 is good for this defense in some weird way when you're giving up 40 plus every weekend. So allowing that many points is good, but now that we saw you tie the Packers, we expect more from you. And maybe we need to tone it down as fans because I love Dak. Obviously, it's not MVP because he's not winning games, but his level of play is excellent. Dak is leading this team and leading these Cowboys to being competitive. Takes more than Dak, obviously. Um, and it's not like he's been perfect throughout the year, but this offense is what we're leaning on. As I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I'm saying the offense is what the Cowboys are leaning on. Um, and maybe the Panthers are good. I don't know what to tell you. Again, I don't know what to think. That's one game we thought, okay, Cowboys are not gonna handle the Panthers, but they're gonna beat the Panthers, and they didn't. Eagles, they're gonna beat the Giants. They didn't. Okay. We'll get to Lions in a second. Packers, Lions, Vikings, Bears. This is a tough one because I don't think anybody really knew what to do with the NFC North. There were doubts all across the board. Obviously, the late trade with Micah Parsons threw Green Bay up top, at least personally. But then you still have the Lions. You think the Lions are going to come back from last year, with the hunger in their belly, positively speaking, they're coming back with a fire in their belly, hungry, ready to prove everybody wrong. But on the other side, it's your coordinators. And off the bat, when they played the Packers, we thought, your coordinators. And then they start rolling. And then I'm hearing uh not Chris. I'm hearing Colin Cowherd say that, oh yeah, Jared Goff is in the Hall of Fame. Jared Goff is a Hall of Fame quarterback. You're wild to think he's not, or whatever he said. And I'm like, wow, maybe I need to do more homework on Jared Goff. Obviously, I know he's a good quarterback, but Hall of Fame, especially when we're talking about NFL, we're Hall of Fame quarterback. Oh, we'll see about that. But anyways, things like that get to rolling. Everybody's like, again, these running backs best in the league, offense, best in the league, historic rate of scoring points. Look at the way Jared Goff is leading them. Go ahead, Dan Campbell. Defense is playing solid. They were missing pieces last year in the playoffs, so that's why they weren't, winning game, or that's why they didn't beat the Commanders. Essentially, I believe it was the Commanders that they played, right? No, they lost in the first round. Anyways, Their defense was beat up. That's why they didn't go far in the playoffs. They have Aiden Hutchinson back. I thought comeback player of the year, possible defensive player of the year candidate. They're rolling, they're rolling, they're rolling. And again, it's only 2 losses, but that loss to the Chiefs is a bad loss. Is is it a bad loss? As I'm speaking to you, I can't tell you. The Chiefs we spoke of 3-3, couple close losses, a bad loss, couple nice wins. The Ravens, is that a good win? Their defense is terrible, but Lamar actually was playing that game. So Chiefs defense is better than what it seems, even though, okay, they put up a lot of points against the Ravens and then they put up a lot of points against the Jags, but the Jags beat them. I don't know. All I know is that the Detroit Lions were number one on everybody's power rankings going into this week, knowing that they had to play the Kansas City Chiefs. And now it looks like a bad loss because you were number one on the power rankings. And we're still thinking, okay, the Chiefs, we don't know where to put them yet. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is on the team. And obviously, okay, they beat the Ravens while Lamar was playing. And I don't want to say made Lamar quit, but whatever happened there happened there. But they did lose to the Eagles. They lost to the Chargers. They beat the Giants. Is that a good win? I don't know yet. They did beat the Giants. Okay. That wasn't Jackson Dart, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I just don't know if that loss was a bad loss for the Detroit Lions when we're talking about the team they lost to. But when we talk about the fashion of which they lost, it was kind of embarrassing for them, especially with the whole Brian Branch situation. I don't know if is post game interview, and I'm going to talk about it on TikTok in detail. But talking about that you're getting bullied on the football field and that's why you're mad. Don't really love that look. But hey, anyways, they're 4-2. It's not the end of the world. They're 4-2. They actually have more wins than the Packers, but funny how these standings work. They're actually second in their division as we speak right now. The Vikings, the Bears, the Bears just won. Again, they just beat the Commanders, but they're still last in their division behind the Vikings, whose starting quarterback right now is Carson Wentz, but they actually want it to be McCarthy, but Wentz might be better than McCarthy. I don't know. Again, I don't know. NFC South. This this one might be the one that everyone had right. This might be the only division that, if I'm looking at it real quick, I think this is the only division in the league that everyone had the same stand. I think froze. So the NFC South might be the only division that everyone had right. Bucks, Falcons, Panthers, Saints. I think this was the consensus on, scouts, execs, odds makers, the whole nine. I think everyone got this one right, with the Bucks being number one, Falcons being two, Panthers being three, Saints being last. I will, however, say that the Panthers have looked impressive the last 2 weeks, especially that running game. Obviously, shout out Rico Dowdle. Played him in fantasy last week. That was tough. But anyways, he did it again this week, and he did to the Cowboys. And again, for the Cowboys, I thought, when I look at the blue star and I look at the Carolina Panthers icon or logo, and I put them side by side, and I see one have more points than the other, or one have more points than the other, I think that's a bad loss. But maybe that's me overrating the Cowboys and underrating the Panthers. I'm not sold on Bryce Young. Again, that running game, impressive. That's last couple weeks that running game has been nice. Maybe that takes the heat off Bryce a little bit and he's able to perform better. The Falcons, they just put it on the Bills. Again, I don't like Michael Penix. I'm not low on the Falcons, but I'm not high on Michael Penix. But when you have a running game like that and you just need to supplement it with, a dink and dunk here, a play action there, a bomb there, you can make it happen. Obviously, shout out Baker Mayfield, 5-1, all those injuries. He's doing what he does. And the Saints are the Saints. But the Giants beat teams like the Chargers and the Eagles, the undefeated Chargers at the time, defending champions, the Eagles coming off a loss of the Denver Broncos. Short week, but does that usually favor the underdog? I'm not sure. So they beat teams like that, Chargers and Eagles, and then they turn around and lose to the Saints in between. You beat the Chargers, you lose to the Saints, you beat the Eagles. I don't know, guys. I just don't know what to tell you. And then we get to NFC West. Some people might say they predict this, and I probably would switch the Rams and the Seahawks for most people's predictions. But the crazy part about this is I can show you this, let's say I'm in the future, I come back and be like, hey, look, 49ers, Seahawks, Rams, and Cardinals. If I showed you this in the offseason, you would say, oh, what happened here? Well, obviously, Brock Purdy and the 49ers, that defense, the weapons have been great. The Seattle Seahawks, Sam Darnold has actually, continued doing what he was doing in Minnesota. He's now doing it in Seattle, and that defense is a monster. Coach McDonald's is cooking. Rams, again, everybody's 4-2, but Rams, you think, oh, they're third in the division because, maybe Matthew Stafford's injured. Maybe, the team's just not the same. And the Cardinals are sad to say, but they're the Cardinals. That's why they're last. But Mac Jones has been leading this 49ers squad. And I know they just lost, but they have had some impressive wins, against other people in their division, most notably the Rams on that. I don't want to say thriller, but it was a really good game. The Seahawks, they've been winning not I'm not gonna say not because of the defense, but Jackson Smith Ninjigba is cooking, and he is cooking everybody. And again, I love to see wide receivers do their thing, but when they're from Ohio State, it makes me mad because I'd rather you be from LSU. Shout out Booty on the Patriots. He had a nice day. But Sam Darnold, you would think, okay, Sam Darnold lessened his impact because he's not playing with Justin Jefferson, but and I'm not saying JSN is Justin Jefferson, but he's performing better than Justin Jefferson. If we pull up the stats, I off the top of my head, I can tell you he's performing better. And that maybe that's a Carson Wentz thing or McCarthy thing, but Sam Darnold, came out of school better than Carson Wentz, I believe, but I don't think, maybe they're equal in talent. But if we look at the surrounding weapons, Seahawks second best is what, Cooper Kupp at this point? And okay, Vikings just got Jordan Addison back, but TJ Hawkinson, Durso on that line. I can't name anybody on the Seahawks line. Respectfully, I saw bad tape, really bad tape about one of the linemen on there. Myers, it might be. No, that's the kicker. If I that's an old player, I think. But I saw some bad film on one of the offensive linemen on the Seahawks. And it's not Christian Darrisaw, obviously, because he's cooking up for the Vikings. But injuries everywhere. Rams, I expect good things for the Rams because Puka Nakua, I believe. Jackson Smith has been hot. Ibuka's been hot. Puka Nakua might be the best of them all. When it's all said and done this year, Puka Nakua might be the best wide receiver in the league. Arizona Cardinals, I wanted more for you. I wanted more from you, especially with some of the players you had on the team. I want you guys to be successful, not Marvin Harrison Jr. Again, it's not personal. It's just another wide receiver from Ohio State is gonna hurt my heart. I just don't want to see it. Um, Kyler Murray's not the answer. Jonathan Gannon may not be the answer. Again, injuries. They've had injuries to running backs. Um, they're on like their fourth string running back. They have to pick up people off the street. But that's where we sit in the NFL today. It's just such a wild picture. Now, if I refresh this and show you really what we're looking at, this is the National Football League today. The top five teams. Let me just stick with the top three because that's more surprising. The top three teams in the National Football League are the Indianapolis Colts, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Some of us were Tampa Bay believers, Baker Mayfield believers. That schedule has been soft, but they're still 5-1. Colts, Steelers, I don't think so. I don't think anybody thought it would look like that. Then we get to more, acceptable teams when we're talking about the Packers and the Chargers and the Niners, but it's Mac Jones, the Seahawks. Where the Patriots, the Patriots. I was a believer in Drake May, but they're above the Bills and the Eagles are down there, and then we get to the Seahawks, Lions. Wait, we haven't got to the Chiefs. It's just it's just a wild NFL season. I'm excited to do the NFL honors video. When we get to the halfway point, I just don't know what I'm seeing. I don't know what I'm seeing when we're talking about these teams. We thought, after the first couple of weeks, we would really start to see what these teams are, and we can go to the bottom of the league. Jets, Saints, Titans, Browns, Dolphins. 4 out of 5 of those, I think we expected to be here. I don't know if we expected the Dolphins to be here. And if we go one more, we're looking at the Ravens. It's just, I just don't know what we're getting this year. Like I said, a couple weeks in, we thought teams were, practicing, really finding out who they're going to be. And and we still don't know. I don't know if the teams know who they want to be. The Lions just got their chain snatched. I thought they were the bullies. The Chiefs, offense is scoring. Rasheed Bryce isn't even back. Baltimore Ravens, play like a Raven, but their defense is garbage. The Colts have Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson fighting for a starting quarterback spot in the offseason, and now they're the best in the league. I don't know what to do. Aaron Rodgers, after bouncing from team to team, ACL to ACL, you're sitting here number one in your division, 4-1. It's just impressive. Some of these teams are really impressive. Some of these teams are really disappointed, and some of these teams are exactly where they're supposed to be. Um, can't wait to see what shakes out this week. But anyways, talk to me in the comments. Talk to me on TikTok. Get me on Twitter. Let's do it. Thanks for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. If you don't agree with any of my takes, we can argue about it. Get on the podcast, get in the comments, whatever you want to do. You can subscribe to my channel right here. In this other corner, you should get with my TikTok and my Twitter. And in this corner right here, you can watch any more reaction videos, vlogs, or watch any more takes. Till then, see y'all. God bless.